honestly, anything that you do consistently and do in a progressive fashion will work. Whether it's a body part split routine, whether it's a push pull legs, an upper lower split, a bro split, or whatever, or a total body program, you can make it work as long as you're consistent, as long as you're training in a progressive overload fashion, and you have all the other variables in place. He says, I'm a huge fan of your advice on full body workouts. And he says, if you were to pick your favorite exercises for each muscle group in a full body workout, what would they be? Great question there. And I am a huge fan of full body slash total body workouts. And that's what I do primarily now in my own training. And it's really a personal preference thing. It's not what works or what doesn't work, because honestly, anything that you do consistently and do in a progressive fashion will work. Whether it's a body part split routine, whether it's a push pull legs, an upper lower split, a bro split, or whatever, or a total body program, you can make it work as long as you're consistent, as long as you're training in a progressive overload fashion, and you have all the other variables in place. And the other variables that I'm referring to is the nutrition, the rest, the recovery, healthy lifestyle habits. Like all those things actually play a bigger role in the greater picture of your progress than the workout itself. Because I mean, you could have a perfect program on paper. Like you could get the best trainers and coaches to write a program out on paper and give it to you. But if your diet is crap, like you're not eating enough protein, you're eating a lot of processed junk food, or you're skipping meals or whatever, and you're consuming alcohol, you're getting poor sleep, it doesn't matter how good the program is, the exercises, the sets, the reps, what you're doing in the gym. If you're not nourishing the body on the cellular level, you're not going to maximize that program. If you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not going to maximize that program. So a lot of times what determines your success, it's not so much the actual workout, it's all those other variables that the workout is stacked on top of. So if you have good, healthy habits in terms of nutrition and lifestyle, you can pretty much make any program works, provided that you're consistent with it. Now, what program you decide to follow is really personal preference and what fits your schedule. So as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of total body workouts these days. Now, back when I was competing in bodybuilding, it was different. I did bodybuilding split routines, chest day, back day, leg day, arm day, yada, yada, yada. I like to do those type of workouts back when I was competing in bodybuilding, because I was hitting the gym 5 or 6 days a week, especially in a pre-contest phase. And I had the time available to go to the gym and to do those body part split routines. Nowadays, I'm only going to the gym 2 to 3 days a week. That's my schedule now. I mean, I'm at a different phase. I'm not prioritizing bodybuilding. As I mentioned, I'm actually training for cycling races. So I do, especially in the summer, I'm probably on the bike 4 days a week. I'm in the gym probably 2 days a week, right? So that's how I structure it. And for those 2 workouts a week that I do in the gym, I'm doing total body. And the reason for that is because I get to hit all my major muscle groups frequently. And it's a little bit of stimulation, allows me to rest, recover, and grow, but not create a lot of delayed onset muscle soreness that's going to hinder my performance when it comes to the cycling training. And also, there's not going to be large gaps between muscle groups. Because if I was doing a split routine and I'm only training twice a week, I mean, it might take me a month before I get around to training the full body, right? Or at least a few weeks. Whereas with total body, I'm getting a little bit of stimulation every time I go to the gym for all those major muscle groups. Now, as far as the best exercises, that really depends on your level of fitness. When I'm coaching someone new, like brand new or coming back to the gym after a layoff, we usually focus on machine exercises first. And the reason for that is because they're easier to learn, they're easier to master, less risk of injury, less risk of things going wrong when you're using a machine, right? When you're using free weights, there's a lot more technical skill involved. You have to balance, stabilize, support. I mean, there's a big difference between someone doing a chest press machine versus a barbell or dumbbell bench press, or doing a leg press versus a barbell squat, right? There's a lot more technical skill involved in the free weight variations. So for beginners and people coming back to the gym after a layoff, I always like to recommend starting off with machine movements first. And then as they build up their strength and their skill and their confidence, then we gradually start implementing in more free weight variations. Now, I still utilize machines because there are some machines out there that you can't duplicate with free weights, but it's nice to have that transition. Start off easy, kind of tiptoe your way in, and then progressively build with more challenging exercises as your skill and strength improves. As far as the best exercises, I get this question a lot, like, hey, if you could only do one exercise for each muscle group, what would it be? I mean, in theory, it's a good question, but in practicality, it doesn't make sense because we don't limit ourselves to just one exercise. That's the benefit of going to the gym and having a full line of equipment to train from. So you can vary it up, right, based on your individual preferences, what you have available, any mobility issues you're going through, also your level of soreness or fatigue. Like if I'm feeling a bit tired and I'm feeling a bit sore, I'll probably do an easier exercise variation than if I'm feeling well rested and recovered and strong, right? So you can choose different variations depending on how you're feeling in the moment. But generally speaking, I like to choose compound exercises most of the time, right? Like master that first. So chest presses, leg presses, rows, pull downs, shoulder presses, like all those big multi-joint compound exercises. Like that is the foundation for sure. You want to get those in there. As you want to get into some accessory work or some other isolation work, bicep curls, tricep extensions, leg curls, leg extensions, calf raises, and then of course getting in some core work, some sort of abdominal crunch or leg raise variation for the abdominals, some sort of hyperextension or back extension for the lower back. You want to make sure that you're hitting all those muscles in balance and proportion. And the general rule of thumb that I recommend, and I actually have a video up on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel showing this, is when you're choosing a total body workout, make sure that you hit everything equally. And what I mean by that, horizontal press, horizontal pull, overhead press, overhead pull, bicep curl, tricep extension, some sort of hip hinge or leg press type of movement. Like you want to make sure that you're hitting all the major muscle groups and all the major movement patterns. Don't neglect anything, because a common mistake that a lot of people make is, well, I'm just going to focus on the show off muscles, the chest and the arms and the abs, and they're not doing any rowing or any work for the rear delts or the upper back or the spinal erectors or no leg day. I mean, that's a huge mistake, right? You want to make sure that you're hitting all the muscles in balance and proportion. So again, if you want to see a sample workout that you can actually follow, Total Body Beginners Weight Training Workout Program, that's the one I would recommend. And even though it says beginners, take that with a grain of salt, because what makes a program a beginner program or more advanced? I mean, obviously I mentioned exercise selection, that's one, but you could take a quote unquote beginner program, and if you train it hard and train it in a progressive overload fashion, I mean, you can still make great gains even if you're quote unquote advanced. All right. So what makes a program beginners or advanced is really the effort that goes into the program, not so much the exercises, sets, and reps. Because you could take a very simple program, but if you work that thing and push yourself and train in a progressive overload fashion, that's still providing advanced training results. And when I'm working with people one-on-one in the gym, we usually use this as a template to go by, right? A lot of my one-on-one personal training clients that I work with in the gym. All right, so again, I just posted a link to that into the chat window. So after this, you can go check that one out.